Hey friends, it's Michelle with Garden Jargon. I am at home tonight and I am in the middle of canning, as you can see, some tomato sauce. But in the meantime, while things are still boiling and getting the liquid off of my tomatoes, I thought I would show you a trick that I use every year. And it is how to make some plant markers for when you do seed starting. Now I grow probably close to over 2,000 plants in my basement every season because I am filling 4 huge gardens with my produce and my starter plants, as well as I do sell them. So I have to have a lot of little plant markers that go in my cups. And I use a ton of different types of cups, and I have not found an economical way to do this and a way that makes it work. And I've done this over 3 years now, and I finally think I found a way to do it. So I wanted to share that with you today in a quick little video while I'm waiting for this pasta sauce to cook down. So hold still, don't move. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, here we go. So what I use for plant markers is I use blinds. I use different types of cups for starting seeds. I use all these different kinds. I use 12-ounce cups. I put holes in the bottom. I think these are 18 or 16-ounce cups, solo cups, these little 3-inch pots, 4-inch pots, and I use these. So I need to find some type of marker that's going to go inside of these so that I know what my plants are. I sometimes will write on the cup, but then I reuse the cup. And so then it's hard because then I got to go through the next season and cross it off. It's just a pain in the butt. So I would rather not write on the cup and just use the blinds. So I have several locations here where I live on Facebook that have free sites. And you can get blinds for free, which I was very fortunate to get these blinds for free because they were brand new. And I could turn around and sell them on Facebook and make a little profit, or I can chop them up, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. A couple years ago, I did find some blinds actually sitting on the curb on garbage day, and I think it was like 5 sets of blinds, and I snagged them, and they were in the packaging. I went to the guy's door and asked him if they were trash. He said, yes, help yourself, and I took them. And I was so happy to get that many blinds. Some of them were really nasty. They were really dirty, so I had to take a rag and wipe them down really good. But that's totally fine. So what I do is I just cut the string off the bottom, and I pull a bunch of them out of here. Now, the first year that I started doing this, I made them kind of small, like this. But when you have this cup full of soil, I want to make sure you're able to see this. When I had this cup and it was up to here in soil, and I pushed that stab, oh my gosh, I'm going to call these stabbers throughout the whole video because that's what I call them. I don't call them plant markers, I call them stabbers. I stick the stabber in the soil, and then I can't see it anymore. If you put the stabber behind and the plant's in front of it, you can't read it either. When I'm looking at this cup on a shelf, I want to be able to see what is on this stick. So I'm going to make them a lot longer than that because I want it to go far down in that cup so I don't lose my plant marker stabber. And when I transplant this plant into the garden, I can use the same marker in the ground, and then I can mark my plants there. Now, some things that I've tried in the past was a pencil. I've used a pen, just a regular ink pen, and wrote on there. Well, actually, it was a Sharpie pen. I've used Sharpies for this project. That fades. I did a Sharpie with a piece of Scotch tape over it. That stayed a little bit longer because I think it has to do with the sun and the rain and the elements. Kind of washes off the Sharpie marker. So the thing that worked best for me last year was these China wax pens. These things work the best, and I used the black ones throughout the whole year. So when I make my plant marker, I'll make it like this. I'll make an angle on one end, and I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to see that if I push that marker all the way down into the bottom of the cup. So I know I can see it there. I'm going to be able to see it with this cup. I'll be able to see it in this cup as well as with this cup. So at this point, I know that this is a pretty good size. So what I'm going to do is I'll take a really nice set of sharp scissors. I'll put several blinds together, and you can go as thick as you want when you're cutting them, as many of these as you possibly can to see what scissor fits or cuts right through it. I put it on there like that, and I make a cut. Then they fall just like that. Pick those up and do it again. That's how I make my plant markers. And I will continue to do that through the entire bunch. Now I just made all these plant markers. Then I find a box, a shoe box, and I just throw them in a shoe box, and then this is what I use. So if I'm doing 10 of the same thing, I just lay them down and I write the title of what I want on these, and on the back I write the start date of when I started it. Then I don't have to write on the cup, and I can just use the stabbers, start date on the back, the variety on the front, and then we can use these in the ground when I go to plant them. Like I can write on this one, I can write Cherry Tom for cherry tomato, just like that. And that's how I'm going to make the rest of these stab markers. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up this whole entire thing while I'm waiting for my pasta sauce to cook down so I can get that canned up. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Thank you so very much. Plant markers, blinds, way to go. Look for them for cheap on Facebook. Look for them at garage sales. Like I said, I've used some before that were really dry and brittle, but those were probably very, very old blinds. You'll know as soon as you feel them if they're going to do that. Go ahead and bend them a little bit and see if they crack. If they do, don't get those because they're just going to break when you're putting them in there. So the newer the blinds, the better. And wax crayon has worked the best for me. I'm in Chicago, Grow Zone 5B, and wax crayon works the best. Pencil works for temporary when I'm doing a huge tray and I've got like 4 rows of the same thing. I'll just write with pencil and I'll make my stabbers a little bit shorter just so that I can put the dome lid over the top of it if I make it too long. When I'm seed starting, then the dome lid won't fit on there. So I hope you enjoyed my video. If you learned something today, or if you have any comments below on what you like to use as plant markers, please put it in the comments. I would love to hear it. Obviously, comment section is a huge platform for people to learn from each other. And I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. It helps support my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much. Take care and God bless.